Buongiorno, buon pomeriggio, e buonasera, Lazio world. Welcome to your instant reaction pod. Consider this a little stoppage time as we review Lazio Cagliari. I'm your host, Sean McIntosh, joined by my friend Caleb Adams. Caleb, riding high. We
Yes,
are 6 straight unbeaten, 4 straight clean sheets, creeping up the table little by little. How are you doing this Monday afternoon?
I'm buzzing. I'm particularly buzzing because I'm riding off the high of Charlotte FC, my MLS team, getting the playoff win Saturday. My Panthers got the win Sunday against a Packers team, and today Lazio reward us with the win. I am buzzing. I think that we're silently kind of we're getting business done. I mean, the league's not really talking about Lazio. I think we've been forgotten, but despite everything against us, we're finding ways, man. That's all we can ask for.
We are finding ways, and we've scored a couple goals in a match that we hadn't seen since Torino. So it's nice to not only hold a clean sheet, score a couple goals, big results. Let's jump right into this thing where we always do, starting 11. So in this one, Provedel again, no questions asked. Marusic manning that left side, Lazzari on the right, Romagnoli, Gila, the middle of the pitch, pretty much locked down at this point. Basic, Cataldi, Gendouzi, and Zaccagni on the left, Isaacson on the right, and still that man leading the line, India. We see a match that sees a couple opportunities earlier. You've got 28th minute, Basic misses a chance in the box for all that he's brought to the table. Game winner against Juve, some really nice chances, a hit post last game. Really a squandered opportunity in that 28th minute after a nice cutback pass from Zaccagni. 2 minutes later, Zaccagni misses in the box after Lazzari, essentially the same thing, runs a nice little cutback from the right, cutting into his left, plays a ball in, not able to finish. And injury woes, halftime, it's Romagnoli pulling up, having to be subbed out for Profsgaard. 52nd minute, Isaacson really, really beaten on a counter way too easily. We're lucky not to concede, but we essentially remain unscathed. Cagliari looking the better side up until the 65th minute, when Isaacson, cutting on his left foot, curls it in. It's 1-0 Lazio. And then in the 91st minute, the man who had been fighting all night long to bag a goal finds the back of the net in a really, really nice shot. It is 2-0 Lazio. Caleb, give me your 3 words or less to describe this match.
Wingers step up. Man, we have been so desperate for our wingers to show some life this season. It's it's very clear that our attack and our goals will not be coming from midfield. We have a very defensive, technically limited midfield side. We don't have any Mazzalas that are particularly good at playmaking. We don't have an Alberto. We don't have a Milinkovic Savic. Um, and with that said, where the goal is going to come from, it's going to be from the wing. Not even the goal is just creating chances. A striker as well is so limited at what they can do. Dia, despite not being good, in general, is still going to struggle to find himself in a game like this when the midfield just can't really progress. So you have to rely on the wingers. And I feel today they finally stepped up and really put the team on their back with the goals that they scored. Because the first goal from Isaacson was it was a time period we were just really struggling for ideas. Isaacson beats his guy, does it on his own, curls it in, massive point. And then, of course, Zaccagni comes up later on, capitalizes on a mistake, and buries his chance as well. I think this is huge for the confidence of our wingers, for the confidence of the team and scoring forward. And we're going to have to really, really keep relying on these guys for the rest of the season because in midfield, we don't have scoring and assisting answers in the midfield right now. So it has to come from the wing play.
You said it perfectly, and it ties into my three words: individuals make difference. And in a match that saw us not really create a ton, in a match that saw Cagliari actually creating chances. If you take a look at the statistics here, 51% possession to 49% Cagliari. So very, very even in possession. Expected goals, Cagliari 1.53. 0.69. So Lazio finding 2 goals out of a 0.69 XG. Lazio with only 8 shots. Cagliari 17 shots. 5 of those on frame to Lazio's 3. We had no real big chances. Cagliari, 2 big chances. 2 big chances missed. Provedel doing well again in this one. And so, it is individuals when things are going wrong, when we fail to create. There were a couple moments of really nice link up. It just wasn't sustainable in this match. And so you need your big time players, your technical players to come up huge in big moments. And you saw the frustration from Zaccagni after not only missing a chance of his own, but after, again, doing so well to hold off play, cut back, find a nice pass, and not get rewarded with an assist. And then you kind of saw him take it on his shoulders in the 89th minute, 2 minutes before he scores that goal. He has a run from midfield where he's using a nice combination of strength and pace to hold off defenders, ends up taking the shot himself, even though there was a pass to be made. And you kind of see like players maybe a little bit frustrated. No, he's frustrated. He goes wide of net. And only 2 minutes later, he's rewarded with the goal. But that's what you want to see. You want to see the likes of Isaacson and Zaccagni just put their heads down, go to goal, and do what they do best, create chances, wreak havoc. And ultimately, they were awarded. And we've said this now for 3, 4, 5 episodes, that the way we're going to compete this season is by being defensively sound and then capitalizing when we have 1 or 2 chances. And today was a picture perfect match of how we find ourselves where we do right now, slowly creeping up the table. So talk to me, Caleb. What did you see from this side tactically? I'm talking about these individuals, but what did you see that gives us continued hope to maybe create a squad that is able to continue fighting up until the mercato, or maybe the way Lotito is, maybe we don't have a mercato. So
I think the big key has been our center back and defensive midfield trio. I think that core 3 of Cataldi, Romagnoli up until this match, and Gila have been absolutely crucial. We've seen sort of a rotating door of fullbacks coming in and out, but it's really been the play of these 3 that I think they're the real heroes of this clean street stretch here. Yes, our midfielders put in some work, like Guendouzi, Basic, they've done some of the work as well. But it's really these 3 that time and time again. Gila today, how many times did the announcer say Gila's name for an interception or a block? How many times did we hear Cataldi's name? How many times did Cataldi break a play today? It's been these 3. Let me, you know what? Disrespectful to Provedel. It's actually those 4. It's that little diamond right there on the back line of Provedel, Gila, Romagnoli, and Cataldi that have been the key to the stretch and keeping these clean sheets. That defensive spine has been really good for us. And even with Romagnoli going out, Profsgaard came in and just went up to business. Wasn't startled, kept things going. Not once was there any shaky moments from him. Rock solid. So that's really been the biggest key in this stretch, I think, is those 4 players on the back line that are keeping us in games and giving us a chance, even when we're struggling to attack at times. And speaking of the attack, we are a way better attacking side on the counter. Like, when it comes to breaking down low blocks, we cannot do that right now whatsoever, right? Breaking low block for us is a real challenge. And our biggest strength is coming from the counterattacks. Zaccagni, Isaacson on the break. And this bodes well against better teams. Like when we play a Milan, we play an Inter, when we play a Napoli, this style that we have now is actually better suited to those matches when they have the ball. They're pushing numbers forward. It's these matches that we really struggle in creating chances. But I think if we keep honing in on the style and really sort of getting sharper in those transition moments, we can be a real threat to even the bigger sides in Serie A.
Yeah, and only two sides this season to date have conceded fewer goals than Lazio. So Lazio at the moment have allowed 7 goals this season. The only two sides that have allowed fewer are Roma with 5 and Como with 6. Another
Wow.
name I want to make sure gets credit for that back line is Marusic, who has again been forced to play on the left, been forced to play on the right, super interchangeable, super versatile. And he's somebody that, despite the side that he's playing on, we don't see any drop off in effort and consistency. So really a testament to what Sadi is all of a sudden being known for, that structure, defensively sound. We saw it from Pellegrini coming in today, a Pellegrini that was really mature in the way that he was defending, and we didn't see any drop off when he was in there. So it all starts with our defensive structure, and all of a sudden, if we can just have those playmakers doing their jobs, we're going to see ourselves where we are right now, like on the doorstep of Europe. When I take a look at the table right now, we're all the way up to 8th place with 15 points. We are only 3 points back of Juve for that final European spot. And then you see Bologna also at 18 points for that Europa League. And then Roma, after this weekend's loss, at 21 points. So taking care of business, doing what we need to do, very, as Adrian Trito on YouTube perfectly says it, rock solid defense. And that's going to give us every bit an opportunity. So, Caleb, let's talk about the players that stood out today. Who was your man of the match?
It's Zaccagni. I thought the captain really put in quite a performance today. He was this was, I said on Twitter, this is very vintage Zaccagni, which was taking on players, of course, getting completely destroyed and demolished on every time he touches the ball. But like, I don't know, he in a way Zaccagni sort of feeds off of that. I think he sort of feeds off of that, and he beat his player multiple times today. I thought he was much more aggressive in his take-ons. I think he really sort of took the responsibility of like, okay, if we're gonna do anything, it's gonna have to come from me here, and he took it literally. He had 3 out of 4 successful dribbles, 75% dribble rate there, and of course was rewarded with the goal at the very end. He was let down by Basic on the pass to him when he beautifully played back. He cut it square back into the box. Basic missed that. You saw last week a similar situation with the Saxon where he wasn't able to finish a chance as Zaccagni created, but missed a couple opportunities as well in the first and second half. But at the very end, got his goal, and I thought he was really good today. Like, this is the Zaccagni we need to scrape these results and get goals. I mean, it's going to come from him.
Yeah, absolutely. He was my man of the match as well, and I had him up there as either 1 or 2 even prior to the goal because of all the reasons you said. It was just the pressure he was putting Cagliari on, the yellows that he was drawing. There was one where later in the match he kind of he's so good at his change of pace, and he kind of slows down, accelerates, is pulled down in what would have been a break for him. And so I know that's got to be frustrating for a player to continuously beat your man and then just get fouled and pulled down and disrupted. So today was, as you said, a very captain's-like performance where, he was hell-bent on creating and scoring a goal today. And so absolutely rewarded. So walks away with that man of the match for me as well. I want to give another shout out to Cataldi for this one. That man was he was when he wasn't winning the ball outright, he was still making plays on the ball.
Yep.
There was one where he was like outstretched and just disrupted the ball from getting to where it needed to go from Cagliari, and so many times where he was just in the right position and fighting and recovering, and absolutely a rock. And I actually saw an Instagram post from a Fiorentina account that was spotlighting Cataldi and calling out Fiorentina for the mistake of letting him leave the club. And you see a Fiorentina side this season that is in a relegation battle. They are in absolute shambles. A team that was in Europe, that was riding high, that saw Moise Kean as a 20-goal a game or a 20-goal scorer last season,
Crazy.
to all of a sudden just completely lost any and all identity.
Wow.
And I don't think it's a coincidence when you lose leaders like Cataldi that just help create a very organized midfield. So wanted to make sure to shout him out. I know you talked about him last podcast,
I'm
but
glad you did.
absolutely elite performance from him. So I'm gonna venture to guess we're probably both on the same page with our Vidone, and at this rate, if Tati doesn't come back, he may break an all-time record for how many times he wins this award. But I'm gonna go ahead and give mine, and then again, I got to assume same thing. But it's Dia for me. Again, in a match where pretty solid all around from everybody. I maybe one of Basic's poor performances. Again, think about the miss that he had, but my goodness, Dia is just he's a black hole, and it's where the attack goes to die, and it's really on the eyes because he's not doing anything. It's really, really hard. There were times, a few matches ago where I would see him kind of dropping back and fighting, and I could see that. But today was a match where I really didn't see anything. So, are you on the same page with me on that one?
Yeah, I was gonna try to avoid saying him again, but it's just I even tweeted out before the show. I was like, I can't take any more Diaz striker. When I saw that lineup, I was like, goodness gracious, I can't take any more of this. It's a rough watch, but I think the only other candidate I think is a Basic. I thought Basic was also pretty invisible for the most part, and yeah, I don't think he was as sharp today and as much of a presence as that we've seen from him in the last few games. He was really my only other candidate. Even Lazio had a decent game. Marusic had a decent game. Even Guendouzi, I thought this is probably one of Guendouzi's better performances in the past few weeks here. Guendouzi's been largely ineffective as well, but he wasn't all that bad today. A few bad giveaways. So yeah, man, Dia just continues to just stand out for honestly, quite literally, the only thing he has been good at is being a body that occupies center backs. That's it. Like last game, yes, he was terrible, but when we didn't have that, at least someone taking away the center backs, it hurt us. Diaz quite literal only value has been to just be a body up top to just occupy center backs, and of course, there's value in that. I'm not saying that's you have to do that as a striker, but that's just like you have to do so much more and provide so much more for your team as a striker. Like that, you got to do more than that. You got to be more than that. Yeah, just bad, just really bad for him. I don't know what's happened to him. We just cannot wait any longer for Tati to come back. We're desperate for Tati to come back or for Noslin to get a shot. But I hope Sadi acts on it. I hope Sadi is seeing these just abysmal performances and say, all right, we're getting results, but hey, we could be even better. Let's maybe change up our striker a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what has to happen to see Noslin in there.
I don't, man.
It's getting kind of outrageous, but I don't know. We know that Sadi can be really, really stubborn. It's getting the results makes it more difficult because I'm sure if I'm thinking and trying to claw inside his brain, is he thinking that the results are there? He's fighting for the team. I don't know. We don't know what we're seeing in training, but hard to wrap our minds around why Noslin isn't getting the chance right now, especially against a side like Cagliari, right? I mean, if not now, then when? Cagliari is a team that's in 14th in the table. We shouldn't have to need our best players for this. Not that Dia is that, but yeah, hard to imagine when he will get the chance. But look, we're marching on. We're in sights of European spots, but the matches don't get easier. We've got Inter now next, and that one's going to be on Sunday, so a little bit of a shorter week. This one on the road at San Siro, a tough place to play in. Then we've got Lecce before. We've got back-to-back matches with Milan, one for Serie A and then one Coppa Italia, and then all of a sudden we've got Bologna. So like it's aside from Lecce, it gets really, really difficult. All we can do is take it one match at a time and just make it really, really hard for these teams to beat us. No, I see here just a couple messages to shout out just as we start to close this one out. But Mandas will be sold for funds. I know we're kind of keeping an eye towards the market and what has to happen. And know we've gotten these questions a few times, but look, the only way that we're really going to sign players is if we sell them. I know we've talked about Mandas before, potentially that if that's going to happen, like we're probably selling him under value or under what we could have sold him for this offseason. He was coming off of a really strong season. Teams need their players prior to the season. So unless we come across, I'd be curious to see what teams globally are in like desperate need of a keeper. You hope that there's one in the Prem that can fork over the funds that we'll need to reinvest.
What about the Nottingham Forest owner? I think he's Greek. We need to pitch it to him. He'll drop the bag.
No kidding. No kidding. Absolutely. That's what we'll need. Who else do you see on the Lazio side that you'd be open and willing to sell? Obviously, we're not gonna that's actually going to fetch something. So that's kind of the give and take of this, right? It's got to be something of value in order for us to be able to make enough that's going to impact.
Well, the tricky part is like, the problem here, the biggest, I think, obstacle for us right now is that with this ridiculous injury crisis we're at, I mean, absurd. Romagnoli today pulled a hamstring, another player. What's that list at now? Let me see what the list at is now. Like, where can I see? Maybe we have, help me here. We have Cancellieri, Castellanos, Delebashiru, Rovella, Tavares, Gigol was injured like in preseason. And now Romagnoli. That's 7 players with muscle injuries. 7. Yeah. We're not even halfway to the season yet, and we're playing 1 game a week.
It's not good.
I mean, unbelievable. So I am afraid of letting anyone go at this point, just with this injury crisis that we have. Is we need to sell people to make room for funds. At the same time, we're struggling to put out a competitive 11 because we're so thin on depth. So, obviously a guy like Belayan, you're thinking like, okay, I personally don't want to get rid of him, but clearly Saudi doesn't rate him. So, he could probably fetch some value, younger guy. You look at someone like, you would think someone like Vecino, like this is kind of dead weight at this point. Like we just need to like, get a little bit of something out of them. At this point, is it even worth selling? Probably not.
Probably not. You're not going to get anything for Vecino and
Mandas, Belayan,
Nuno.
Let's
be honest. If we can.
Okay, but who's our backup left back at that point? I mean,
he hasn't been playing now, anyways. You've got Marusic as your starting right back / left back. Then you've got Pellegrini. So you kind of interchange. You have Lazzari, Hisai if needed.
So probably those 3 then. That's probably only 3. And then I also heard rumors of Delebashiru also being potentially transfer listed. I heard rumors of Noslin being transfer listed. I don't really want to get rid of some of these guys, but if they're not going to play, if Saudi's insistent on not running them, and this is, keep in mind, Sadi is a guy who is notorious to run the same 11 into the ground. So would I rather kind of, make some money, bring in some more role player backup guys, or relegate some of the starters down to bring up one, maybe a key starter? I think that'd be worth doing, but it's just tricky. I mean, we don't have a shirt sponsor. We don't have the revenue coming in from Champions League or Europa League. I don't know. I mean, yeah, we're gonna be tight for funds. I'm not very hopeful or expectant of this January window. Maybe one player, maybe
Yeah.
two, and I
Serie A
don't.
podcast for the fans on YouTube chimes in with that Insigne is free, which we know he had been training with the side, is very vocal about wanting to reunite with Sarri at Lazio. So that's a potential, but one that I I can't be super thrilled about, knowing what he was in Major League Soccer, and how disappointing his tenure was. And even in the last season at Napoli, he just looked like a player far removed from what we saw during Euros 2020. And so hard to get excited about that one.
I will get excited if he is willing to come on like a minimum. I mean, just on a reasonable salary. I would be open
If
to it.
somehow he's if he
I am
takes what's
the
he
reports
Pedro
I'm
2.0, you kind of hope maybe like
right.
he takes that, but
I am hoping that him making the 15 million a year he was at Toronto for the past 3 seasons, stupid money, even by world standards, not just MLS standards. I'm hoping he's sort of like, okay, that was that last paycheck for him. At this point, it's more a passion thing. I just want to I want to fall in love with the game, keep play the game that I love in my country on a competitive team. The way he sounds desperate for this Lazio move makes me feel it's kind of like it could
yeah, he
potentially
can't be
do that.
right.
Like it's just like hey, I just want to play in Serie A again. I've made my money. I just want a run back in Serie A on a decently competitive team in a beautiful city. So I would be all for him arriving. Like coming off like, let's be honest. Like, would I rather see say Cagliari comes back? He's in good form too. I'd rather see Insigne coming off the bench than some of the guys are putting in now. So I'm open to it. That Orizabal link that you posted, I don't know how legit that is, but if that's the kind of signings that I think are like perfect for Lazio. A guy who's been consistent performer in La Liga. Doesn't get a lot of hype because he's Real Sociedad. No big teams really scouting him. Like he has the makings and the mold of a Lazio legend, like someone that could be here for the next 5 years, really be a focal point of the attack. That'd be wonderful. I don't know how much truth is there, but I would love a move like that.
Yeah, same. So, well, we continue moving up the table slowly but surely. Again, undefeated in 6 matches, 4 straight clean sheets. This is a side that is fighting week in and week out. And whether the goals are coming from the left wing or the right wing, sempre Forza Lazio.